Justin O'Connell, and then Gretchen McDevitt, and then Sherry Barnett.
Good evening, Council President, Council. Last week was National Indigenous Day. We have that off at Central Planning, so please, in the future, feel free to take that day off. Now, we're here. We've had an issue. I brought this up before. Houston, Texas. Central Planning has a list of demands of all of you. Now, this is a list of demands of things not to do. Don't do anything Texas does. Everything is bigger in Texas, including apparently the effort to house the homeless. They use HUD funds. Houston took a housing-first approach. Homeless for a year, you get an apartment in 30 days. Veteran and homeless, apartment in 30 days. The best part is you can still do drugs. Now, this helps attract more homeless people to the apartments, but Houston worries about that later. Houston's, quote, permanent supportive housing strategy is a thorn in Central Planning's side. It means that the chronically homeless receive housing, money for rent, utilities, bus fare, other necessities, and are assigned even a case manager. Now, every homeless person gets a vulnerability score. At Central Planning, we know everyone's actually quite vulnerable right now, especially with the coming, we'll call it a recession. Now, chronically homeless get out of housing in 30 days. This approach has led to a more than 80% success rate. People are remaining housed. 100 organizations came together, the city, nonprofits, corporations. They had a software to streamline their efforts. They put a nonprofit, not a city bureaucracy, in the driver's seat. Please definitely do not do that. Central Planning is taking a bureaucracy-first approach. We want the whole planet to ultimately be one big bureaucracy. Now, Houston worked with landlords. That's also horrible. Central Planning prefers the squatter-first approach. So we arm the homeless with pit bulls, and when the homeowners walk outside their house, the homeless run in real quick, and we lock the door behind them, and then it's the court's issue.
2.5 years she lived there. I tried to evict her. She was doing drugs. So she had come to me as a squatter, and I couldn't remove her. So she lived there 2.5 years. She wrecked the place. I left on a Friday. I got back Monday, and I got there, and there's pit bulls. And so I called the police because, anyway, 2.5 years she paid nothing. She left it uninhabitable. What am I going to do?
Now, whatever you do, please don't offer landlords, for instance, financial incentives to house the formerly homeless. Punish them for not housing the homeless. Now, Houston's discovered their, quote, permanent supportive housing strategy is cheaper than just jailing the homeless, which is the old-fashioned way. Central Planning wants everyone in jail, and if you're not in jail, then we just want you to pay higher taxes. Now, we have to get creative on how not to fund any of this stuff, because Houston uses the HUD funds, so we need those funds to disappear somehow. Do we know a homeless shelter operator that can make funds disappear? We just give them the HUD funds. Now, you yourselves have taken steps which worry us greatly at Central Planning. For instance, you banned local income taxes. Also, you deregulated accessory dwelling units. Those are structures that serve as additional living units on a property with its own facilities. We're watching you. It's like that song, you know. I always feel like somebody's watching me and I have no privacy. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me it's just a dream. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Justin.